Chris, what is our second main topic today?
This one is wild, and this is from Josh. Hey, John and crew, I saw an article that had said that there was currently a lawsuit against Universal for misleading advertising, because in their trailers, they had shown that Ana De Armas was in the movie, but she wasn't. Ridiculous, yes. Interesting, though. Hypothetically, if they were to win the lawsuit, this could change the way trailers are made, especially for Marvel, which sometimes purposely misleads. What are your thoughts?
All right, thanks a lot for sending that in, man. And this, to me, is fascinating. And do not sleep on this story, because this story could have very wide-reaching implications as to how studios market their movies to their audiences. Now, if you watched, let's face it, the greatest documentary of the last 100 years?
Trailers?
Movie Trailers, a Love Story. Yes. I think we all agree, greatest documentary of the last 100 years. But if you had seen my Movie Trailers, a Love Story, you know that mine and a lot of film fans' big pet peeve is when trailers are misleading. We're not talking about, maybe, they did a little misdirect, like purposely just set up to deceive you as to what you're getting in this movie and what kind of movie it is, what kind of movie it isn't. That can be a problem for a lot of film fans. Well, there was this really neat little movie with, I almost called it Leslie Bibb, but it's not Leslie Bibb. It's not Leslie Bibb. It's, why am I freezing on her name? I'm freezing on her name. And she's Pamela Anderson in the new Tommy Lee and Pamela.
Oh, Lily James.
Lily James, that's right. With Lily James in it, right?
John, how much have we pontificated about our love of Lily James?
I know. So the
greatest Cinderella ever.
She is such a good Cinderella. Go watch Cinderella.
She was great in Baby Driver.
She was
So
great.
good
She was
in
great
Baby
in
Driver.
everything. She was great in Downton Abbey. I mean, I really like her. Anyway, so there's this little movie called Yesterday. The basic premise is wonderful. And it's a good little movie, but the premise is wonderful. Basically, this dude, songwriter, getting ready to give up on his dreams, gets hit by a bus when he's riding his bike, gets knocked out. When he wakes up, everything in the world is exactly the same, except that the world has never heard of the Beatles. And so he starts playing Beatles songs, and all of a sudden he becomes the world's biggest rock star, right? Cool. It's a really interesting thing, and Lily James as a girl has always been in love with him and whatever. It's like, how lucky do you have to be that the girl you never noticed who was always in love with you was Lily James? So anyway, great concept for a movie. However, in a scene in the movie, or in the trailers, the guy in question's on one of the late night talk shows, and he's on with Ana De Armas, who of course is one of the hottest actresses going right now. Her career is super hot right now, especially, oh my God, how good was her scene in James Bond? Her whole sequence in Bond was
So
amazing,
good.
right?
She was great in Blade Runner 2049 too.
Oh, she was. And that's where a
I
lot
have
of
an
people
action
took notice
figure of her in Blade Runner
For Blade
2049.
Runner?
Yeah.
Very cool. So there's a scene, a very prominent scene in the trailers that it cuts to several times in the trailer where you see where Ana De Armas and this singer-songwriter kind of share a moment and whatever. Here's the catch. Those scenes, that scene that they go back to like 2 or 3 times in the trailer is not in the movie. And that has pissed off some movie fans who claim the whole reason they got the movie, they bought the movie on Amazon they rented it for $3.99. They're saying the whole reason they got it was because Ana De Armas is one of their favorite movie stars. They looked at the trailer on Amazon. There's Ana De Armas, and they watched the movie, and Ana De Armas is not in it. And they are suing for, I think it's $50 million or something like that, something along those lines. This comes to us from the folks over at Deadline. Read the following. Among other deceptions, now this is from the actual lawsuit, okay? This is text from the actual lawsuit. Among other deceptions, the defendant's nationwide advertising and promotion of the movie Yesterday represents to prospective movie viewers that the world-famous actress Ana De Armas has a substantial character role in the film. Defendant's movie Yesterday, however, fails to include any appearance of Ana De Armas whatsoever. Accordingly, defendant's advertising and promotion of the movie Yesterday is false, misleading, and deceptive. And here's the thing. Everything they just said is absolutely correct. The movie represents to the potential consumers, Ana De Armas is in this movie. So it is therefore reasonable to assume that some people acting on that promise decided to buy or rent or see this movie, only to find out that Ana De Armas is in fact not in the movie. Now we have all seen and we understand that sometimes there are clips and scenes in trailers that are not in movies. Partially because, Rob, you and I have talked about this a lot, that quite often what happens is these trailers get made very, very early. And sure enough, their trailers included stuff that they thought was going to be a movie, but maybe later on the director decides to cut stuff out. It's purely innocent. But I can't remember, Rob, a time when a trailer actually had a famous actor in the trailer, and then the actor just wasn't in the movie at all. Just wasn't there. I remember the advertising for Mission Impossible 2, the trailer made it look like it starred Tom Cruise and Anthony Hopkins. And Anthony Hopkins is in the movie for like 5 minutes. But he was at least there. This to me is interesting. Rob, do they have a point here? And is this something they could actually win or at least settle?
No. No. This is, I think this is, first of all, they didn't go into something that's promising them Ana De Armas. It's promising them a movie called Yesterday. Now, the fact that she appears in the trailer, you just pointed out, John, that it's understood that a lot of times movie trailers, and this has been true for decades since they started making trailers, there's always a couple of scenes or shots or things, even in Marvel trailers, they make shots specifically for a trailer that's not going to be in the film. The first movie I ever worked on, Leatherface Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3, had a teaser where the Excalibur chainsaw comes out of the water like the lady in the lake from Excalibur delivering it to Leatherface. That wasn't in the movie. So if you wanted to see some, and I think that what a trailer promises is a movie called Yesterday. It doesn't promise you a movie starring Ana De Armas, even though she's in the trailer. That doesn't necessarily, think about the original trailer for Spider-Man, where it had the bank robbery scene where Spider-Man rescues and webs up a helicopter that gets trapped between the World Trade Center. That's not in the movie either. And so this is not something new, and I think only an idiot would get angry if there's no Ana De Armas in Yesterday. Go watch Knives Out.
Yeah.
There's plenty of her in that movie.
Man, I see. One of the big caveats to that, though, is Ana De Armas is still in the trailer. The trailers that they play on Amazon for renting the movie,
sure,
it's still this. They're still playing that trailer.
Oh, that does change things
when they're trying to get people to now rent the movie. So, like, you lose the excuse of, when we cut the trailer, she was still in it. They're still using footage of Ana De Armas in this movie to promote and try to get people to buy the movie.
They might be contractually obligated to do so.
That seems unlikely.
The thing is,
unlikely.
I mean, I don't know, but she did get paid. And,
well, yeah, she did get paid, but the issue isn't her. The issue is the audience. Because, like, if I go to the store and I'm looking to buy a widget, right? Let's say I'm going to go buy a camera, right? And it says, camera with lens. And there's a picture of the camera with a lens. For any of you guys who buy cameras, you can buy cameras with just the body only without a lens. Mm-hmm. And sometimes I can save you a bunch of money. But if I go into the store, I go into Best Buy, and, like, there's the box. It's like, oh, there's the camera I want. And it says, such as, like, Sony A6400 with kit lens. And there's a picture of the lens on the box. And I go, yay! And based on that, I pick up that box and I buy it and I take it home. And then I open the box and I realize there's no lens in here. And they were like, yeah, well, we printed the boxes before we realized we weren't going to include a lens in it. I think that's pretty similar to this.
But in that scenario, you said camera with lens. That's what they're advertising. This is advertising a movie called Yesterday.
The moment you put Ana De Armas, let me bring the image up.
I understand that, but it's not promising you.
This is the cover of the box. This is the cover of the box. When you're a moviegoer and you're watching a trailer to determine if you're going to watch a movie, and they say to you, here it is, Ana De Armas, there it is. They're advertising the movie, and the thing that they are advertising is right there. It's Ana De Armas.
But you can say, though, that in the history of Hollywood, many actors have been cut out of movies.
Sure, but are they in the trailers when they're cut out?
Sometimes they have been.
Like, so is it implied to the audience that actor is in the movie in their marketing?
Well, I would say that that's not what a movie trailer is necessarily promising you. It's promising you a movie called Yesterday. Whatever that is. Whatever that is.
Are you saying? Let me push you on this a little bit. Are you saying that if you went in to see Yesterday, and nothing that was in that trailer is actually in the movie? It actually doesn't even star these people. It stars Pauly Shore, and Dolph Lundgren as a couple of bank robbers. And are you saying that that's okay because the movie was still called Yesterday?
No, it's not about what the movie, because the essence of the trailer is promising you a story about what if the Beatles never existed and somebody remembered them and could sing Beatles songs.
Great premise, by the way.
It's a great premise.
We want to take a minute and thank the sponsors of this video, Liquid IV. Now listen, just one stick of Liquid IV added to 16 ounces of water will hydrate you faster and more efficiently than just water alone. It contains 5 essential vitamins like B3, B5, B6, B12, and of course vitamin C with 3 times the electrolytes as traditional sports drinks. And what makes Liquid IV so effective is the science of cellular transport technology, or CTT. You see, it's designed to enhance rapid absorption of water and other key ingredients into your bloodstream faster and more efficiently. It tastes great, and it's a great thing to take when you feel run down, you need your daily hydration boost, or even a little bit of hangover recovery. You know, Ann and I get up pretty early in the morning to go to the gym because we can't go to the gym at any other time during the day. And for the last couple of weeks, I have been drinking 1 full glass of water with Liquid IV, and all I can tell you is you can feel the difference during the workout. So go and grab Liquid IV in bulk nationwide at Costco, or you can get 25% off when you go to liquidiv.com and use the code CAMPEA at checkout. That's 25% off anything you order when you use the promo code CAMPEA, that's CAMPEA, at liquidiv.com. Experience better hydration today when you go to liquidiv.com, and remember, use the promo code at checkout, CAMPEA.
As long as I'm seeing that movie, I think the argument can be made. The trailer itself is promising you a movie that's called Yesterday that has this premise. Doesn't really matter who's in it, but if you're seeing a movie called Yesterday and you get that story.
I don't know, man. I'm just trying to imagine Spider-Man fans going to see Spider-Man No Way Home with all of the Benedict Cumberbatch presence in the trailers, and Doctor Strange wasn't in the movie. I'm just trying to imagine what Spider-Man fans' reaction would be. But you raise a couple of really, really good points about what is the whole nature then of the trailer. What should the audience be willing to expect from it? That's a great question that you raised. Chris, when you look at this, I mean, do these guys have a point? I mean, what is beyond dispute is that they are correct. This movie showed us that Ana De Armas was in it. We bought the movie and she's not in it. That is, nobody's questioning that. That's that. How big of a deal? Do they have a point, though, to say that this represents false advertising, or does it not? How do you see it?
Well, this is such a great topic where your lawyer is showing a lot. Because, yeah, the wording is so important in legal issues. This is absolutely false advertising. It does promise you one thing and doesn't give you something. Now, Rob's being much more reasonable, right? Because, yeah, things get cut. I'm an actor who's been cut from things. I would love if booking a job guaranteed you were in the finished product. My life would be so much different if that were the case. But she was in the trailer, so I can understand expecting her to be there. Now, does that warrant you getting several $100,000s? No. That's ridiculous. Life is going to be so much harder for you if this is how you react to things in your life, you know? If you're like, oh, that person's not in a movie and I deserve it. Grr. I just really hope that the ruling on this is that they're out of bounds, because this is going to change a lot of stuff. Movie trailers, I think, in a way, should be misleading. I think we should have had those Spider-Man trailers, right, that edited out a lot of those little extra characters. I'm very fortunate to be friendly with one of the Marvel editors right now who makes those trailers, and it is such a minefield having to do those edits. So I just really don't want that extra pressure put on them, too, of delivering goods. You're delivering a movie. That's what it should come down to at the end of the day.
Well, you could also make the reverse argument that how come these trailers didn't show us that Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield are in Spider-Man? Like, I would have gone to see it, not knowing they weren't in it. I didn't go, so I missed it in the theaters.
But is there a difference between, and I don't mean this as a rhetorical question.
No, of course.
Is there a difference, though, between, like, that the advertising of something has to show you everything that's in the box versus having something on the box that isn't in it? It's like, let's take the Hulk example in, what the most famous example of this is the Hulk in the Infinity War trailer, where you see Hulk running alongside the other Avengers in Wakanda, right? I mean, you could still at least then make the point, like they obviously did that on purpose to be a little misdirect, but you can still at least make the point. Hulk is in the movie. All those characters are in the movie, even if that particular scene isn't. But let's go one step beyond here, though. let's say a judge, because this is probably going to be moved into a class action situation where it's going to be these two guys with everybody else who got it and said, yes, we feel wrong that this happened. And there's probably going to be some punitive stuff attached. Let's say for argument's sake right now, that the court rules that yes, because what could very well happen here is the court could rule that, yeah, this is misleading advertisement. We fine for the plaintiff in the sum of $1. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if that happens. But let's say, for example, the court does say, yes, this constitutes false advertising. Having this person who is not just some little side person like a John Campea or whatever, it's a major, major star, Ana De Armas, who's only bigger now than she's ever been. And the court rules that this does constitute false advertising, having her in the trailers and keeping her in the trailers. Even now, a couple of years later, now when you're marketing it on a different platform, here's the question for me. How does this affect the movie industry and how they do their trailers moving forward? Like, will they then have to take a closer look? Will this go beyond, we got to play it safe. We can't just have people in the trailer who aren't in the movie, but we got to start making sure that the scenes we show in the trailers are actually, I mean, how far and how big of a repercussion do you think this can have, Chris?
That's what I'm so scared of.
Right, yeah.
Because I don't want to watch a movie trailer and see the whole movie. I hate when that happens. I think that's such bad editing. I want a taste. I want a little sampler.
Let me interrupt for a second just before Ray sees it, but somebody in the live chat just asked a great question. Ray, what if there's no moon in Moonfall? How are you gonna feel? What if Moonfall is not actually a movie about the moon attacking Earth, but it's about 6 college kids who stand on the side of the highways and show their bare asses to cars driving by? First of all, I know Rob's already interested in that movie, but
as long as it's under an hour and a half, 10 out of 10, baby. No. Like this whole thing reminds me of it's not even movie based. It's like just with advertising itself.
It's under 90 minutes.
Like Madden 22, right? I'm gonna talk about Madden 22. Right. They promised a new improved franchise mode, right? And I only play franchise in that game. They, even if you pre-ordered it, they gave you franchise coins which you could use. Right? When the game came out, it was completely broken, no improvements.
Oh, wow.
Right? So they want to update it. They're like, oh, we're gonna give you what we told you we're gonna give you. We'll update it in October, whatever. Right? Then they sent that update. It wasn't anything. And then they say a bigger update coming up. It eventually led to them tweeting, oh, we're not gonna give any more updates on franchise mode. We'll save it for next year or something like that.
Oh, I didn't even hear about that. Oh, that's bullshit.
But what the thing is, people were able to get the refund. So that was like, you just said, hey, I don't want Madden. They're giving straight refunds. So that's how they fix that problem. With these two guys, I have 2 free Redbox rental codes on my phone right now. I can give it to them right now if they're really so butthurt about it. I just think it's ridiculous. 50 million just for a rental? Come on.
Well, I mean, a larger issue is, why is our court system, is this really the best use of our court time? Is this really what we should be doing with our lives? And
well, maybe.
I would say you have to prove damages. And I would say, so Ana De Armas isn't in this movie. How does that damage you as a human being? How does that damage you? You're out $3?
Well, I mean, the idea of punitive damages, though, is the whole concept of punitive damages is also meant to set an example by the court to say, if you are a corporation, you cannot try to take advantage of consumers like this with false advertising. So like these guys wouldn't get a check for $50 million. It would probably be something else altogether. But I think a lot of really interesting concepts in race here. Like, what is a movie trailer? What is actually, Rob raises a great question. What is actually promised in a movie trailer? What is not actually promised in a movie trailer? If this gets, here's the thing. I asked the question, what happens if a judge rules it forth? What happens if a judge says no? Does this then open up the gates for studios to go, you know what, we can get away with anything now. We can put, well, let's put Arnold Schwarzenegger in the next trailer for Robert Pattinson's Batman and not have, I mean, I don't know. I think it's very interesting though.
As long as it's him doing like a pun saying chill,
yes.
I'm here for it.
But I think though that both studios, and I don't think studios want their trailers to necessarily be deceptive,
right.
Because the studios are promising a product and they want you to go see that movie. You know, they want you to see their product and like it. So what they're trying to do is make you feel the best you can toward going to this movie in advance, because ultimately it's still your choice as a consumer.
You know, one of the biggest disappointments for me, as in like something that I thought was gonna happen but didn't happen, was that G.I. Joe, the part 2 with Channing Tatum.
Oh, when the Channing Tatum was in for the first 5 minutes, then gone.
And I was like, because I wanted to see him and Rock go back and forth a little bit.
Yep, no such.
That's probably the most recent disappointment I've had when it came to.
I mean, if you're going to get angry, I thought Rise of Skywalker was going to be good. I mean, come on now.
True.
If you're going to sue somebody, sue Disney for the whole sequel trilogy.
And also the whole
first part of the sequel trilogy was
the
awesome.
Hulk running in the Infinity War trailer. I think if Infinity War was a bad movie, a lot more people would
probably have a bigger problem with. No, you're absolutely, because
Yeah.
winning cures everything.
Yeah.
If the movie's great, everybody will overlook everything if it's good. You're right, though. That's a great point. If that movie ended up being terrible, everybody says like, oh, it's so cool that they put out a misdirect with the Hulk. Okay, that's because the movie was great. If it wasn't great, I bet everybody would be like, and they lied to us with
These
the
guys
Hulk.
must have not liked yesterday at all.
Yeah, well, maybe. Anyway, guys, listen, the question is for you. I think this is a fascinating topic. I think a lot of interesting points have been raised. What do you think about this? What do you think about fans actually taking a studio to court over the thing? Is you showed us this big movie star in the trailer, and that movie star wasn't in the movie. Do you think there's a point? Do you think it's being taken too far? However you guys feel about it, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts.